Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we are covering the financial system, and basically in the financial system we had started the discussion over the foreign investments, right? In the foreign investments, basically these are the three types of investments about which we are required to talk about, like the FDI, foreign direct investments, like the foreign institutional investments, and then the foreign portfolio investments. Okay. Out of these, basically, we have been talking about the foreign direct investments, and the topics we are left with is the foreign institutional investments and the foreign portfolio investments. Okay, so basically, you could say that in this lecture, we are going to talk about the FDI. Okay, and we will try to finish FDI so that we could go with the FII and the FPI. All right. I hope that you have revised the previous lectures in the well enough manner before you have come for this lecture. As many times I have told you, that is for your own benefit. So if you are doing this on the regular basis, that will be beneficial for you. If you are not doing this on the regular basis, then might be that will be a difficult for you. Okay, so let's start. So basically, this is the thing which we were, you can say, which we were discussing in the previous lecture. Now, if we go ahead, then basically here are two things like broadcasting content services and the broadcasting. So what is the difference between them? And here you could also see that there are two broadcasting. There are two broadcasting. Okay. One is broadcasting. Another one is broadcasting content services, right? So basically, if we look at here, what we are seeing, that broadcasting having 100% limit, and basically it is having automatic approval, right? That's the picture. While when we talk about the broadcasting content services, then what we have seen, it is having 49% funding, and basically it is having government approval. Okay, so just not only the difference is between the names, but also in the approvals and the, you can say, the allowed percentage. Okay, so we must require to understand the difference. Like broadcasting is basically, you can say, depends the entertainment services, or you can say online or digital entertainment through channels, YouTube and all this. While the broadcasting content services refers to the communication through radios directly to the general public. Like you can say the people listening news on radios, like you could say that the people using various things like FM radios. Okay, so all of these kind of things are basically the part of broadcasting content service, whereas the broadcasting is the online or the digital entertainment. Okay, so if we go by this, then we will find that the broadcasting content services is more sensitive in comparison with the broadcasting, right? That is the picture. All right, so that's why the government only allowed the 49% limit. Got it? All right, thereafter, non-news and the current affairs TV channels. Remember, it is non-news. In these areas, what is happening? 100% FDI is allowed and the approval route is automatic. It means that no prior permission of the government is required. But when we comes down and we will see the print media, or you can say the newspapers, right? So basically the print media or the newspapers, these are the sensitive one. Why? Because it is cover wide range of people directly. Okay, covers wide range of people directly. That's why it is having 26% FDI limit. Okay, which is the lowest which we have seen so far. All right, and even the approval rate, or you can say the route, is from the government. Okay, so keep this thing in your mind. Thereafter, another one is the print media or the scientific journals. Here you could see that the route is government approval, but the limit is 100%. Okay, because it is a policy that we encourages research and development in various fields. That's why we have increased the limit of the FDI so that this sector could be flourished. But the research and development is very, very sensitive for the nation, for security, its societal overviews. That's why we have the government approval route. It means that if some foreign entity wants to invest into the print media and the scientific journals, they could invest up to the 100%, but the approval should be taken from the government. All right. Thereafter, the civil aviation, airports, greenfield, again, the 100% route is there. Okay. Automatic. And which ministry will be coordinating for this? Ministry of Civil Aviations. Okay. So the Ministry of Civil Aviation will be the ministry which will be coordinating with them. Thereafter, the constructional development, if we talk about it, constructional development. So basically you could say that the limit is up to 100% and the route is automatic. All right. Now, industrial park. So what do you mean by the industrial parks? Like, what is the meaning of this? Okay. So basically when we talk about this, then suppose this is the city. Okay. This is the city. All right. In which people is living. All right. So you can say that it is a necessary thing that the industries must be implemented, or you can say must be incubated outside the city. Why? Because industries often releases harmful substances. Okay. And we could understand it through this way that the industries is the process of converting raw material into the finished goods, right? Raw materials into the finished goods. So in this process, there are the releasement of the harmful substances. So if the industries will be in the city, then the city people will be affected. So that's why it is a concept that usually you can say outside of the city, there is a designated areas created for the industries. Okay. Like you could say various type of industries will be implemented there. Okay, and all type of facilities will be provided, and these areas are often also called as a special economic zones, or you can say as EZ. All right, so if any foreign entity wants to invest in the creation of these type of industrial parks where various industry holders will you can say making their factory outlets and all, so for this kind of things the government has allowed 100% of FDI, and the route is automatic. All right, that's the thing. Thereafter, the satellites. Basically, when we talk about the satellites, then satellites are important source for communication for both. Both means civil communication, okay, and intelligence communication, and military communication. All right, so satellites is basically used for both type of communications. All right, and satellites, you can say India has been you can say adopted the approach to flourish the satellite, or you can say the space industry. Okay, space industry. Why? Because the space industry is multi-billion dollar industries. So if India's space industry will be stronger, then automatically the country's economy and the country will be stronger. Okay, that's why India has an approach to develop the space industry, and that's the reason that why we allows 100% FDI in it. It means that basically we are encouraging the foreign entities to come to India, invest, just not only increase the liquidity in the segment, but also brought the new technologies which we require. But because it is a very sensitive topic due to the civil communication and the intelligence and the military communications point of view, all right, that is the reason that why the government's approval is must. It means that without obtaining the government's approval, no one is allowed to open the industrial business in India. Okay, thereafter what we have the private security agencies. Okay, so if we talk about the private securities agencies, like you can say there are the securities which provides guards and home and office securities. All right, so the companies which provide them, these are known as the private security agencies. All right, and the private security agencies is mostly, you can say, beneficial for the graduated and undergraduated people. Why? Because they could easily explore the jobs at the private security agencies. So that's why the limit is 74. Okay, but there is a one thing, like you could say that the private security agencies is basically providing the securities. They are recruiting the people all over the world from country and all. Okay, so from where these peoples are coming, okay, what is their security type, and all these kind of things must be disclosed. So that's why through automatic route 49% is to be allowed. Okay, but once the condition is above 49%, then the government approval is must. All right, and you can say only the note 65. Okay, it means that up to 49% they could invest, and the rest 15% which they allowed as per the 74, this must be obtained from the government agencies. Thereafter, the telecom services. Okay, telecom services are again the part of the you can say the communications. Okay, that's why in India the telecom services are allowed to having the 100% limit. Okay, but again here you can see 49% and the 14%. Total only 98% is allowed. All right, not 100%. Why? Because of the TRI regulations, and in the lecture of TRI we had discussed these things in the details. So you could go there and check it by yourself. Thereafter, cash and carry wholesale services. Okay, like you can say ATMs and all. All right. So for this, the 100% stakes is allowed in FDI, and the approval route is also automatic. Then we called e-commerce. Okay, e-commerce, we know that these are the websites like a Flipkart and Amazon. All right. In this, the limit is 100% and even the mode is automatic because it is less sensitive. Thereafter, single brand retail trading. Okay, so basically you can say that the single brand retail trading basically means, like suppose if there is a company XYZ, okay, and XYZ having its store in which they are selling products of the XYZ. So this store will be regarded as a what? As a retail unit of XYZ or single branding. Okay, so in such a case, if any foreign entity wants to invest in the XYZ, then the automatic route only allows the 49%. Okay, and if you can say the rest 51%, if the foreign entity wants to reach here, then they have to obtain the government's permission. Why? What is the reason? Because up to 49% is allowed and the rest 51% as per the 100% will be under government. Okay, thereafter multi-brand retail tradings. So basically you can say suppose there is any mall XYZ. XYZ is now a mall. Okay, and it is having suppose 30 brands products are being sold at this particular mall of XYZ or whatever you can call it. Okay, but here you look at the number of brands, so that's why it is known as the multi-branding services. Okay, so if any foreign entity wants to invest into the XYZ, then they are only allowed up to the 51%. Why? Because as I had told you in the starting of this lecture, or you can say in the previous lectures, that whenever there will be a foreign trade or the foreign investment, there must be some deal. Okay, so we could say that if the ABC is a foreign entity and it is investing in the XYZ at a huge rate, then what will happen? That there are high possibilities and the high chances that if any of the brands belong to the same country or belong to the company in the interest of the XYZ, then in the interest of the ABC, then the ABC will pursue the XYZ to promote this. For example, suppose is out of these the 10 brands are in the interest of the ABC. So the ABC will make the FDI but may sign the deal with the XYZ that you are required to promote these 10 brands over others. So this type of manipulation could be done. That's why the limit is fixed and even the government approval is required. Why? So that nature of fund could be you can say explained. Second, source could be explained, and third, potential benefits could be explained. All right. Thereafter, duty free shops. It means that those shops which are not selling import export items, okay, they are allowed up to 100% stakes and the things is automatic. All right. Thereafter, the railway infrastructure. Railway is under the Ministry of Railways, right? Got it? So here the limit is up to 100%, okay, and the approval is automatic. Thereafter, the asset reconstruction companies, ARCs. Now, what do you mean by the ARC? Come on, I had told you. Like, what is the meaning of ARC? What do you mean by that? So basically, if we talk about the NPA, so the full form of ARC we had already seen. It's a asset reconstruction or recover company, right? Okay. NPA stands for non-performing assets, right? So this is a situation. So what generally happens that the defaulted loans of the bank will be called as an NPA. Okay. And generally what the bank will do, that the bank will sell this NPA to the ARC. All right. And then the ARC will be the one who will persuade the NPA and recover it. Okay. The banks will get the amount and will be set free to carry on their businesses. Okay. So that's why the asset recovery companies are necessary. Okay. And for the deployment, basically the 100% stakes are allowed and the route is automatic. Thereafter, banking private sector, like the private sector bankings, limit is up to 7% because we know that the banks are the very vital institutions of the country as they deals with the huge population. All right. So that's why only up to the 74% limit, it is the maximum FDI limit. Okay. And up to 49% stakes are, you can say, allowed. All right. But once the stake will cross 49%, it means that 74 minus 14, 13%. If the foreign entity wants to invest in this remaining 13%, then it means that prior approval of the government is required. Okay. So that you could say that explanation of terms and conditions must be there. Thereafter, the banking public sectors, like the public sector banks, up to 20% is allowed. And obviously, because these are the part of the government, then the government approval is required. Credit information companies, like which companies gives you the credit reports. Okay. 100% stakes is allowed. All right. And the route is often automatic. Infrastructure companies in the security markets, only the 14% is allowed and the route is automatic. All right. Insurance 14% automatic, pension sector 14% automatic, power exchanges 14% automatic. Okay. White label ATM operations 100% stakes are allowed, automatic way. Finance services activities which are regulated by the SEBI, RBI and etc. 100% and the route is automatic. Pharmaceuticals in the green fields, so 100% is allowed, and the route is automatic. Thereafter, the pharmaceuticals brownfield, 100% is allowed, but up to 70% is automatic, and the rest 26% could only be made after the government's approval. Thereafter, the food products, the manufactured or the produced in India, again the 100% stake is allowed, but the government approval is necessary. Okay, so students, basically in this lecture we have finished till here. In the next lecture, you can say that we will continue from here. Till then, just revise this table which we have discussed in this lecture. Okay, and I hope that you have enjoyed the lecture. You are able to understood the things. Okay, so it is my request to you, kindly revise the table in the proper sense. Okay, and before coming for the next lecture, kindly revise this lecture also. If you are not doing this, then it will be harmful for you only. Okay, so with this note, let's end this lecture, and what we say thank you.